statement. I think it's really difficult, and this probably sounds like all college coaches in America that run in this situation. You sound like a broken record, but you can't dig a hole the way we had, 18-point deficit going to half against a great team like Little Rock, who is the #1 team in our conference, who has the highest RPR for a reason, and expect for us to easily come back. And it was difficult. We did a great job in the second half. We got the stops that we needed. We started to score a little bit better. I think that's evident if you take a look at what we did statistically in the second half. With that type of a hole against a very good team, it's very difficult. And I think that piece of it, as far as the way we started, I'm disappointed with. I need to go back and take a look at it. I need to talk with the team. We started out really flat. We just really, it was quiet. We were flat. We were tired. I didn't feel at that in that moment with the few timeouts that we called that the team really truly understood what everyone else was watching. Because when I asked, I said, no, Coach, we got it. So I need to do some evaluation to find out. I put that on myself. What I don't like is the fact that we started out just so flat and so dead. The energy level was there, though, with practice. The energy level was there. The understanding of who they were was there. And so that's the piece right now for me. I've got a bit of a question mark that I need to figure out as to, what happened in between the practice setting, even the pregame talk where they clearly understood the energy level was high to what came out and was just like, blah. But with that being said, this team always responds well, did a better job in the second half, picked it up, eventually found our seams offensively because they're a good defensive team. It's just, too little, way too late. And to me, that's what it looks like on the surface without going back and watching film.
Obviously, Coach, you guys didn't shoot the ball real well. Anything you attribute to that? Wasn't getting the shots? Was it their defense? Was it something they were doing?
Well, I clearly understand what a good job he does defensively. He's one of the top defensive coaches in the country. As a matter of fact, throughout the week, every time people ask me about Little Rock, I was like, he's like the women's basketball version of Coach Casper, very defensive-minded. The difference is, though, he's got some kids who can really put up numbers, who can score this year. He's always done a great job defensively. It's kind of who he is how he's made his mark, and he's found some scorers along the way. And I think that's what you find. They score a fair amount of their shots in the past have come in transition from transition offense. But now what he's found is he's got some kids who can do a better job scoring from in the half court, so the margin of victory for them has been pretty good. So, no, I clearly understood what they did defensively. I think we showed them on film as well what it was they're going to do. It was really important, that these young women can tell you is up on the board that we be patient in our execution, knowing that we're not going to get quick early looks. We'll get some transition offense opportunities, but we're going to have to run some half-court offense. When we run our half-court offense, the shots that we normally get early and quick are not going to be easy to come by. We're going to have to run and get the ball reversed 1 or 2 times before we find something. I don't think we truly understood that until you actually lived it, and then you saw it in the second half where we started to get some of the looks that we needed because they didn't adjust. They don't adjust. I shouldn't say don't adjust. They adjust, but there's very little they do as far as what they do. They're very predictable, but they just work extremely hard. And so as far as preparation goes, I feel like we were able to prepare them. The 1-day prep after coming on a 10-day road trip, it's really difficult to put your kids through that scenario in practice when you got to save their legs.
Kileah, talk about your performance tonight. Obviously, you're really aggressive going towards the basket, really aggressive offensively, helped out a lot on defense. Talk about your play tonight.
Well, I tried to be very aggressive for my teammates. I knew that we were down by many buckets, so I tried to just, basically go towards the basket, try to draw the fouls and stuff, and then at some point in times my shots weren't falling, so I tried to keep attacking the basket and basically being aggressive because I just felt like that's what I had to do because we were down by so much and trying to draw the fouls and stuff.
Did you get an idea that you were going to be the offensive focus for much of the second half since Coach Z had you in the game? Jacqueline didn't play much in the second half. Was it then that you kind of took it upon yourself that you were going to be the main offensive person?
Well, Coach G kept telling us that if we slip, it's wide open. So I tried to follow through what she said. And when I realized in the beginning of in the first half, that if I did slip, I would be wide open. So I tried to listen to her and continue to slip and stuff. And once I got that mindset, that was like my base, my main focus of trying to just slip and get to the basket because she was right. It was wide open.
Coach, you had a series of opportunities in the first half where you had some wide open threes you missed short shots, some layups. Do you think that really took the wind out of yourselves at that point?
I think what happens with a team that's pretty offensive minded, when your shots don't fall quick and early for you at home, not necessarily a seed of doubt, but there's more frustration. And so how you handle that frustration is going to be real important. I go back to what Mark talked about, or we talked about earlier, and that is, I think the staff, we clearly understood what they were going to see out there, but it was very difficult to simulate that in practice outside of film for them to truly understand. It's not going to come as quick and as easy as you think. Not against this particular team. They're so good defensively. They're going to be there right in front of you in transition defense. So what you might perceive to be open and what's normal for you isn't necessarily there. And so, we tested it. We failed. And I think we just kept hitting our head against the wall until eventually they bought in and understood where the seams were. In the second half, we saw a little bit more of that. And we got the defensive stops we needed as well. But as far as the first half goes, I think we got comfortable to doing what we normally do, but what we normally do doesn't work against this type of a good defensive team. They're just right in front of you. They just contested a good job contesting. They're not a pressure, deny defensive team. It's they're a team that just keeps you right in front of them. And they say, go ahead, you're going to shoot it, but you're going to shoot it with some pressure.
Ayriel, why do you think you guys, Coach Z talked about bringing it from the aggressiveness from practice to the game situations. Where do you think you guys went wrong between the two?
I felt like in the beginning of the game, I felt like we were focused, but like Coach said, sometimes when we get down by such amount of points, sometimes we do hang our heads, but then again we also try to fight back at the same time. So then it's like you have some plays where we go really hard, but then sometimes where it's just like, well, we just keep missing shots, so I'm gonna stop shooting. Or it's hard to explain, but I just know sometimes we can hang our heads on certain plays, and then other times we try to just go out there and do it, but sometimes it's a little too late.
Coach Z, would you say Taylor Gall is the best player in the conference?
After tonight I would say that, but I still, Andrea Gamble from Arkansas State's a phenomenal player to me as well. I will say this, and I told Joe this about it. Taylor's playing better. I've watched that young woman for a long time. I go back to when I was watching her and Aaron, to be honest with you, when I was an assistant coach at Arkansas. She's really picked up her game, her intensity level. Her percentage has got to be through the roof right now as far as increasing her field goal percentage. Her three is so much better than it was before. That's the piece that she was missing in her game, her three. And she started out right away, and you knew it. The sideline bencher, we heard it right away. She hit that three. She's like, all right, it's on. Like, she was ready. And that got her focused for the game. It's a piece that she didn't have. She has that now. And like I said, what Joe didn't have in the past, offensively, he now has, which is some more kids that are just more skilled and great defensively. And that's what makes them a tough team. To me, by far, they are the best team in the conference after watching film, but I would say it's a toss-up between her and Andrea Gamble right now, to be honest with the kid from Arkansas State. But I can say I'm happy for Taylor playing so well within her senior year that she's brought her game along. The staff has done a good job. It's just, I hate to have to go up against that. We've got to do a better job when we go to their place. And I'm confident when we go to their place, you'll see a different Texas State team. I really am.
Do you think Kileah will be playing more down, as you go on through the year, or do you think Jacqueline will kind of work herself back into the year?
Well, it depends on what you mean. Both Jacqueline and Kileah started. The thing that they both can do, and I think that they struggle with sometimes, is they both can score in the low block. I start with both of them because I think they play well together. Jacqueline's done a good job, with the high-low passing. I think we need to continue to look to Kileah. I think the more opportunities Kileah has and she's scoring, I think the more confident she feels. I think it's been tough on her. The first 3 games, it's been tough on her. She's gotten looks. She's gotten just as many looks, if you look at it statistically, as the majority of our players that score for us, with the exception of Aaron and Ayriel. Those just haven't fallen for her. So tonight, she had a great game. She got some easy opportunities. She saw it, and she was able to take advantage. So Kileah is always going to be a focal point for us in the low block, for sure. But to say that Jacqueline Jeffcoat isn't a young woman who can score in the paint, I don't think that's true. But the way the game played out, to me, in my mind, on that second half it was better to run with Whitney Apari defensively. The young woman did a great job defensively. And we weren't getting those stops. We need Jacqueline to get those stops. We need someone to get those stops. We tried a couple different kids. I wasn't comfortable to continually put Aaron Peoples and Erica May at a 4 spot to defend. I felt better about them staying on the perimeter, help us with the perimeter game. And so Whitney came in, a young woman, who's not played very much, did a great job for us defensively. And so that's why I went with that look versus Jacqueline Jeffcoat at that point. And the way we were going to score against them, dictated that it was okay to run with Whitney as well versus going with Jacqueline. She found herself in foul trouble as well. So that's tough on a player, right? Especially when a kid who sees a lot of minutes. You foul, somebody else goes in, and they're playing well. I'm going to roll with the young woman that's playing well. She deserves that opportunity. Nothing against the fact that you got yourself in foul trouble. That's tough. But I'm going to roll, with who is producing for us. And Whitney was doing a good job for us defensively.
I guess final question for me. Not the best game from Megan tonight. Is that one of the worst? Is that probably one of the worst games you've seen her play, shooting wise? I
think it's been tough on Megan. You have the opportunity now to watch a lot of game film. Everyone has watched it. She's one of the top shooters in the country for a while, right? And so everybody clearly realized that. We all have the same scouting film. So we came into conference play, and they sucked at her like white on rice. They weren't giving her good looks. They're not going to give her good looks. It's just part of the game. I think now that she's facing it, it's a little bit of a in the face. I'm confident that she'll come through it. She's not going to hang her head for too long. But as we all can see, when a shooter misses a couple shots, it sometimes can get in their head. But the thing that we have to continue to do is just tell her keep shooting. That's what great shooters do. They just keep shooting. You're going to figure out a way. Hell, you see in the NBA all the time. You see guys are big-time scorers can go 5 for 25. And we're going to continue to encourage her to do so. And we'll find seams and ways to get her open. This young woman here scoring is going to help a lot with that, though, opening up more for Megan, for sure. But no, it wasn't her worst game, but it definitely wasn't, in her top 5.